Well, I know Danny knows all about this, but JMO, Danny has been in the news recently. He's been a bit of a trending topic on Twitter amongst all the Leeds United fans out there based on a podcast you've been doing. I really want to get your take on it, Danny, but first we got sent a video from one of the fans here in Malaysia to give their perspective.
Hi Danny, my name is Piers. I'm part of the Leeds United Supporters Club here in Malaysia. I think from speaking to many Leeds fans, the reason why we're upset is the fact that you brought up that story at all on the podcast. The fact that you were one of the highest earners in the club, and the fact that you could have been the person to take us out of business at that time. I think it was very hurtful and very disrespectful. I don't think anybody blames any individual for trying to get the best deal for themselves and for their family. I just don't think it was needed to bring that up at all and to laugh and joke about it. I think it's been a really tough time for the club. We've been 16 years outside of the Premier League, and yeah, it was just opening up old wounds, and it was just very sort of hurtful to hear those comments. So I hope you can reflect upon that, and you know, when you speak about the club next, you can show it with a bit more respect.
Danny, what do you make about that? Because I have to say, I applaud you for your honesty. It was a very honest podcast episode to listen to. But do you regret anything that was said? Is anything been taken out of context? Are we just grabbing some headlines from this?
Yeah, I think I don't regret anything I said. It was all true, you know, and I stand by everything that I said. I think people maybe haven't quite understood the context of the podcast, which is a funny, entertaining podcast, a little bit like your Squeaky Bum podcast. You know, it's not always completely serious. You know, and people are saying I was disrespectful to the club. Well, yes, did I have a clause where if they didn't pay me, then yes, I could have had the option to put them out of business. Did I do that? No. Did I go through 2 more administrations and extend my deferral to 5 years to help the club out? Yes, I did. I was laughing at the situation. You know, it was caveated by the fact that I said, can you imagine if I sent Leeds out of business? I like living in Leeds. I'd loved playing for Leeds. I would have to move to Outer Mongolia because there's no chance I would be allowed anywhere near Leeds or even in this country. The situation was ludicrous that Leeds had put me in at that situation. And when people say about your respect to the club, you know, let's remember, I was forced out of the club. I was told I had to train on my own. I was made to train on my own for 3 weeks in pre-season. Peter Reid forced me out of the club, and I was not allowed to train with the first team at that time. And they give me a contract, and they owed me money. They wanted me to leave, so to save the football club. I agreed to do that, and therefore, at that time, I had to protect myself, my family, and my future for money that was owed. Would anybody else in that situation, having been treated by a club like that, give up 25% of their earnings just to help a club out? No, they wouldn't. Simple as that. You know, if people would think I was laughing at the football club, they've got that wrong. I was laughing at the ludicrous situation. Let's remember the owners, or not the owners, the people running the football club at that time. Jeffrey Richmond was obviously, would been involved in that at the time. Simon Morris, Gerald Krasner. At that time, the club was a shambles. And I was just simply laughing at the ludicrous situation that they'd allowed me and they put me in.
OK, because I got the sense a lot of fans were upset with the manner in which you talked about it. But you were saying you were joking more at the situation rather than the actual scenario of which you could be putting a club out of business. It's amazing that
people know about the situation, stuff that I've talked about before. People always say they want to know the truth until they hear the truth that they don't like, and then they get offended. This is 17, 18 years ago, don't forget. You know, yes, the club was in bad times back then, but I left Leeds, took a pay cut, went to Manchester City, and had to wait nearly 5 years when I wasn't a player at the football club no more. I was a creditor just like everybody else, and I had to protect my position. The fact that if Leeds hadn't have paid me, I had that option to call in my debt, just like everybody else did, was a ridiculous situation and something I was never, ever going to do. And that was the funny part about it. You know, can you imagine it if having, as one person, as an ex-player, having the power to wind up and fold a football club. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.